before the dawn of time, metabolizing microorganisms, little more than an enzyme. Growing ever larger, though smaller than a dot, evolving and mutating, wasting not. Feeding all the time, high energy process, assimilating host that I digest. More than an amoeba, burgeoning sentience, bacteria perfect us, taking in the memories. Of organic life subsumed, troves of experience of those that were consumed. The more I grew, the more I learned, the more I understood. Replenishing my dead cells, led to godhood. Feeding all the time, high energy process, assimilating host that I digest. More than an amoeba, burgeoning sentience, bacteria perfect us, abundance plenteous. I am what I eat. I am what I eat. More than an amoeba, burgeoning sentience, bacteria perfect us, abundance plenteous. Thank you for coming to the live performance of hell. We are Triad. Is it instinct to become stronger? A natural basic goal, understood on a cellular level? Or is it within control to become something greater than a host of flesh and blood? A bag of worthless tissue, what separates gold from mud? In a body that can't expire, does she wait around to stagnate? Freezing cold surrounded, permeated, resounded. The planet shuddered, a gas sputtered, and it was strange, permanent change. We all seem to know, instinctively so. A rippling terror like cold iron bars, freezing in place like long dead stars. An unshakable sensation approaching dread, like precognition of blood running red. Eerie green streaks burning bright as shards broke off and ignited. The heavens painted in a sea of flame on the night the comet came. The ground shook so violently, though the collision site could not be seen. An awful anxiety that could not be tamed on the night the comet came. In the silent humming, like an engine thrumming, we couldn't hear the drumming of the war coming. Eerie green streaks burning bright as shards broke off and ignited. The heavens painted in a sea of flame on the night the comet came. The ground shook so violently, though the collision site could not be seen. An awful anxiety that could not be tamed on the night the comet came. On the night the comet came. It's possible to be unknowing, to become a god by my own hand, intercepting worlds one at a time. Consciousness is my gross pain, callous on the planets I've consumed, infecting less by cellular imitation, until that creature is no longer itself, through mitosis of impersonation.
It's easy to infiltrate when only a single cell is all that is required to become the host itself. Until all I want, until all I want, until all I want, until all I want. single cell is all that is required to become the host itself. Until all are one, until all are one, until all are one, until all are slowly they emerge to quench curiosity, looking upon the immense crater, a piece of planetary debris. They seem to communicate through oral vocabulary. Intelligent life has preferred my cells touch preliminary. A town up north went quiet. actions they took were like a puppets in a show.
From the heavens one night, how many tribes had died before we finally caught on that it took their forms after they were gone? Our friends and neighbors, no one could tell they had become a piece of a part of this hell. She was like an infection, some sickening disease, but one that didn't kill. It took what it pleased. Once it got to them, from inside took hold, replacing their consciousness, absorbing them whole, absorbing them whole. You can reason with a monster, though some tribes communicated. Those who petitioned peace were quickly assimilated. Hell infected their bodies and reconstituted their memories, sending them back home to loved ones, not knowing they were enemies. Our friends and neighbors, no one could tell they had become a piece of her, part of this hell. She was like an infection, some sickening disease.
she cannot replicate. And so the simplest spell that even children do, it seemed that this hell could not call upon it to. Though she could wear our skin and sneak around in guise, the magic that flowed within, she could not reprise. Our people's natural mandate of magic like a flood proved hell couldn't duplicate what flows within the blood. What flows within the A gentle pulse of light and hand, the words spread so fast all across the tribal land, through forests and plains vast. When hell attempted to infiltrate one village or the next, she could never demonstrate our magic was too complex. Though she could wear our skin and sneak around in guise, the magic that flowed within, she could not reprise. Our people's natural mandate of magic like a flood proved hell couldn't duplicate what flows within the blood. What flows within the blood. Those who failed to produce the light were set upon relentlessly, and soon hell had no choice but fight as we responded tremendously.
large and small, and there's untold more in space. Once I consume this skin. Yuck! So dry and dead, just like my hair. You need some Lumina Rejuvena.
Lumina Rejuvena? What's that?
Just the best skin enhancer in the market. Just wipe it on and your skin cells will instantly begin repairing themselves. Hair too.
I thought hair was dead already.
Not with Lumina Rejuvena. You'll look 20 years younger. Lumina Rejuvena, forever young.
From West Labs.
I can feel them! I can hear their thoughts! Listen how they quiet as they become me! A god contained in steel. Did you think you could use me? That I'd consent to this deal? As I float in this tube of oil, thoughts doused dim by a cocktail of drugs. Like a serpent am I coiled, collecting information from these scientist thugs. My blood in ochre tubes, separate with centrifuge. Beating heart long since removed, cells packaged, purchased, consumed. Take, eat, this is my body, my blood, a delicious wine. Take, eat, spread me like butter, for soon you will be mine. Mine. Soil is sown in arsenic. With cyanide does it grow? This body's not like turmeric. Awareness building slow. Senses flashing from millions, like lightning in the night. Cells surpassing resilience, adding to my might. Take my blood in ochre tubes, separate with centrifuge. Beating heart long since removed, cells packaged, purchased, consumed. Take, eat, this is my body, my blood, a delicious wine. Take, eat, spread me like butter, for soon you will be mine. Awareness has long escaped, forbidding me to infest. Human hubris knows no bounds.